It started with silence. An unfamiliar kind of silence that filled the house like smoke. The kind that isn't peaceful but suffocating. Daniel sat on the edge of the couch, staring at his phone. The screen still showed "message delivered." But no response. He had texted her 5 hours ago. "You didn't say where you're going. Everything okay?" No reply. It wasn't like Emma to disappear like this. Or at least it hadn't been until recently. For the last few weeks, she'd grown distant. The warmth that once lived in her smile had been replaced by something colder, mechanical. She came home late, smelled of perfume he didn't recognize, and said she was just exhausted. He wanted to believe her. God, he wanted to. But belief doesn't erase the ache in your gut when you sense something's wrong. By 10:45 p.m., Daniel couldn't take it anymore. He dialed her number. It rang twice before she answered. "Emma." "What?" Her tone was sharp, like he'd interrupted something. "Where are you? You didn't text me back." There was a pause. He could hear faint music in the background, laughter, and the clinking of glasses. "I told you I'm out with friends," she said, irritated. "Stop acting like I need your permission." "I didn't say you do," Daniel said quietly. "I just worry. You've been—" "Daniel," she interrupted, voice colder now. "Don't call me again tonight. I'm not your property." The line went dead. He stared at the phone, his chest tightening. "Not your property." The words cut through him. Once, she used to call him her home, her anchor. Now he was just a cage. He sat there for a long time, the room dim except for the glow of the TV, playing some late-night comedy he wasn't watching. Finally he stood, grabbed his jacket, and walked out into the night. The next morning Emma came home. Her hair was messy, her makeup smudged. She smelled faintly of whiskey and something else. Daniel didn't say a word. He just watched as she stumbled into the kitchen, poured herself some water, and leaned on the counter. She noticed him watching and sighed. "What? Are we really doing this?" He wanted to ask her where she'd been, who she was with, why she came home wearing another man's cologne. But instead he said, "I made coffee." She blinked, surprised. "You're not mad." "I'm past that," he said softly. Her brow furrowed, as if she didn't know whether to feel guilty or relieved. He slid a cup toward her. She didn't drink it. The silence stretched between them like a frayed rope ready to snap. "Emma," he finally said, voice low. "If there's something you're not telling me, now's the time." She gave a small, bitter laugh. "You always do this. You twist everything into drama. I'm just tired of feeling controlled." "Controlled," he repeated. "By caring where my wife is at midnight. By needing to know every detail of my life," she snapped. "By making me feel guilty for wanting time to myself." Daniel's jaw tightened. Time to yourself, or time with someone else? Her eyes flickered just for a moment, but it was enough. He saw it. That tiny flinch. The kind you can't fake. He felt his stomach drop. "Who is he?" "Don't," she said, looking away. "Emma," he whispered. "Who is he?" "I said don't," she shouted, slamming the cup down so hard it cracked. "You don't own me, Daniel. You don't get to demand answers." He stood there, numb. Then his voice, calm but cutting, filled the room. "Perfect," he said. "Then don't come home." She froze. "What?" "I said don't come home. If I don't own any part of your loyalty, then you don't own space in my life." Her lips parted, but no words came out. He turned and walked away before she could reply. That night, Daniel packed her things into boxes. Every photo, every sweater, every reminder of the woman he thought he knew. He left them by the door. Then he opened his laptop and did something he'd never imagined himself doing. He went through their shared phone account. It took 5 minutes to find it. Dozens of late-night calls to one number, saved under a fake name. Sophie Work. He copied the number and ran a quick search through his contacts. It wasn't Sophie. It was Erin, her coworker. He clicked through to social media. There they were. A tagged photo from a team dinner. Her hand resting just a little too close to his. That familiar smile, the one she hadn't worn at home in months, directed at another man. Daniel felt the world tilt. He closed the laptop and just sat there, trembling. For days he said nothing. He went to work, came home, and moved like a ghost. Emma noticed his distance, but she mistook it for surrender. She thought he'd given up. Then one Friday evening, she came home to find the locks changed. He pounded on the door. "Daniel, what the hell is this?" He opened it just enough to meet her eyes. "I told you not to come home. You can't be serious. I'm done being the fool in my own marriage." "Daniel, stop this," she pleaded. "It wasn't." He stepped aside and gestured to the boxes. "Your things are right there. You can collect them and go." Her voice cracked. "It was a mistake, okay? It didn't mean anything." His expression hardened. "Then why did it happen more than once?" She blinked, realizing he knew. You went through my phone." He laughed bitterly. "No, Emma. I went through the bills I pay. That's what ownership looks like, remember?" Her lip trembled. "Please, I was confused. You've been so distant lately." "Because I was trying to fix something you'd already broken." Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't want to lose you." He exhaled shakily. "You lost me the moment you decided to lie." For a moment, she looked like she might fight it, might beg harder. But then her pride kicked in. "Fine," she snapped. "You think you're so righteous. Go ahead. Throw me out. But one day you'll regret this." He nodded slowly. "Maybe. But at least I'll regret it alone." And with that he closed the door. The next few weeks were a blur. He filed for divorce quietly. She moved in with a friend, then, rumor had it, with Aaron. He didn't check. He didn't need to. He spent his nights rebuilding, literally. He took up woodworking, filling the silence with the sound of hammers and saws. It was messy but healing in its own way. Then one evening he got a message. From Emma. "Can we talk? Please. I need to see you." He almost ignored it. But curiosity, closure won. They met at the old cafe near the river, where they used to sit for hours just talking about dreams and plans. She looked different. Thinner, exhausted, older somehow. The light in her eyes was gone. "Thank you for coming," she said softly. He nodded but didn't speak. She stared at her coffee, twisting the cup. "I made a mistake, Daniel. I thought what we had was routine, predictable. I wanted to feel alive again, and Aaron. He made me feel seen. But it was a lie. He's already gone." Daniel swallowed hard. "You traded real love for attention. That's not something I can compete with." "I know." Her voice cracked. "And I hate myself for it. Thought you'd chase me. I thought you'd fight for me like before. But you just walked away." He met her gaze. "That's the thing about love, Emma. When you break it enough times, it stops fighting. It just leaves quietly." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I wish I could undo it." He looked at her for a long time, then said, "You can't undo betrayal. You can only live with what it cost." She reached across the table, her hand trembling. "Daniel, please. Can we start over? I'll do anything." He stood, his expression soft but firm. "You told me not to call you because you weren't my property. You were right. But that also means I don't owe you a home, a future, or forgiveness." She broke down as he walked away. Months later she saw him again, this time by accident. He was at a local art fair, laughing with a woman who looked genuinely happy just to be next to him. Emma froze, watching from across the street. He looked lighter, freer, like the man she'd forgotten he could be. Her chest ached with the realization. She hadn't just lost a husband, she'd lost the only person who ever truly saw her. That night, she went home to an empty apartment and scrolled through old photos, each one a reminder of the life she'd thrown away. Her last text to him went unanswered. "You were right. I was never yours to own." But I was yours to lose, and I did. Daniel never replied. He had nothing left to say. For the first time in a long time, his silence wasn't filled with pain, it was peace. And that, more than anything he could have done or said, was what broke her.